Welcome everyone to this new ICEF webinar titled Promotion of Online Programs via International Education Agencies. And the goal of this webinar is to explain to the online learning providers, whether language courses, online MBAs, digital credentials, boot camps, virtual internships, or even full degree K-12 or higher education curricula, how you can reach and enroll new pools of prospective online learners and students from new countries and regions by working with overseas education agencies. My name is Martijn van de Veen. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at ICEF, and I'm pleased to have with me today four very senior guests representing two online program providers that are currently successfully using agencies to enroll more learners and students, as well as two overseas education agents to share with you their insights, experiences, case studies, and advice on this topic. But before I introduce them to you, allow me to first share with you some statistics and some context to set the stage. So, promotion of online programs via international education agencies. I think to start, it's important to briefly highlight what an education agency is and what they do. And technically, an education agency serves as an education consultant who provides prospective international students and their families with information and advice about study options overseas that best match the student's profile, ambitions, budget, and future potential, and assist them in the entire enrollment process. Most education institutions have partnership agreements with these agencies to help them find and recruit international students from all corners of the world. Now, during the pandemic, schools and with them the agencies quickly became more familiar with online delivery, online learning as an option for international students. And let's face it, it was really the only option available for a while. As a result, the agencies have started to better understand online learning opportunities and formats that are here to stay and that make quality education at all levels and price tags accessible to a much larger pool of students and learners. For example, for every student who is able to study abroad, there are another 4 who would have liked to study at an overseas institution but are unable to do so. Think of family commitments, health issues, lack of funds, or a rejected visa. So, with more than 5.5 million international students in higher education alone, this means that we are talking about a pool of more than 22 million students who are looking to obtain a degree, certificate, or diploma. Again, these statistics are related to higher education only, but you can safely add to that additional millions of learners also unable to travel maybe, but nonetheless interested in opportunities in terms of language learning, secondary education, and short courses, for example. So even with borders reopened now to international students, there is a large pool of students worldwide for online learning providers to tap into, and they can be reached via these overseas education agencies. Let's now briefly take a look at some statistics on this topic. I'd like to share with you some fresh results of the Agency Voice survey that we've been running over the last few weeks, resulting in responses from 162 agencies from all corners of the world. We asked them, for example, if they are currently selling or promoting online education, online programs, which is indeed the case for more than half of the respondents. From this group, most are offering language learning, hybrid or blended programs, or pathway programs, whereas 29% even offers entirely online higher education programs, and nearly 1 out of 5, 18%, have started offering the increasingly popular digital credentials and online boot camps. The list ends with entirely online K-12 secondary education programs or even virtual internships, which we will be specifically highlighting later in this webinar. When asked what motivates them to sell online, it's not surprising that most agencies consider it to be a great solution, of course, for when borders are closed. But the responses also show an increased understanding among agencies that online or blended and hybrid programs are great for students with lower budgets. They help to reach new types of customers. They respond to an increasing demand for online learning, but also offer new revenue streams as well as options to sell online education in the context of lifelong learning. For example, online courses and programs can be a great add-on for their international student graduates upon their return or to increase their employment opportunities. It probably won't come as a surprise that most agencies, 55%, currently sell and promote the online programs exclusively of the schools and institutions that they have always worked with, the traditional schools, if I may call them that. But interesting to see is that more than 1 out of 10 agencies are exclusively selling and promoting online programs from pure e-learning providers, with a further 34% offering both options. And even with most borders now reopened, the trend for agencies to sell and promote online seems to continue. Most agencies that weren't already selling online, the ones that answered no here in this graph, are planning to do so in the near future or are at least considering it. From the total respondents, only a mere 11% will stay exclusively focused on in-person study opportunities. A large majority, however, 75%, will either start or continue to sell and promote online learning and programs, with a further 14% considering their options. Well, I guess it's enough talk about agencies and about online learning providers, so let's actually involve them in the conversation. I'm pleased and proud to have with me today Alexander Zeltov, from CEO and founder of Educate Online, Sergey Sulimov, founder of Book Your Study, Ed Holt-Roy-Pierce, president and co-founder of Virtual Internships, and Sezai Shildir, founder of Delta International Education. Gentlemen, welcome to this webinar, and thank you very much for joining me. I think the best is to start with a quick round of introductions. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, your organization, and about your affinity with online programs. And Alexander, if I may start with you, please.
Thank you so much, Martin. It's a big pleasure to be here with ISEF, and thank you so much, ISEF, for supporting us along the way. So we're Educate Online. We're a US-based company that has UK, Canada, and US programs for the K through 12 segment. So we actually have pre-K as well. So we serve students from the age of 4 till the age of 18, 19. Some of the students do a single subject. Some of the students follow the dual diploma track, which means that they continue to study in their country, and then they do additional programs online. Some of the students do full-time online studies. And now we have over 6,000 students from 25 countries. And we actually began to promote with international educational agents probably somewhere around May and June last year. And we see that this is a very amazing route for the educational institutions and service providers to go for. So I'll be happy to share our insights during this webinar.
Thanks, Alexander. Looking forward to that. Sergey Sulimov, good to see you again. Over to you.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Sergey, and I'm founder of Book Your Study. We originally worked only with offline programs. We sell education programs from offline providers, but then after pandemic started, we started to offer different options. And now we offer online language courses, online higher education. I will share more experience later.
A whole portfolio of options. Ed, may I continue with you?
Yes, sure. Likewise, thanks very much for having us here, Martin. It's a pleasure to be working with ICEF. I'm one of the founders of Virtual Internships. We started in 2018, pre-pandemic, believe it or not. But before that, we've been offering in-person internships to around 10,000 individuals. And Virtual Internships was created with the express desire to remove or strongly reduce the barriers that were affecting people's uptake or ability to take internships. So primarily making it easy for students to access companies worldwide, get really good quality internship experiences, and to provide them with a wraparound support, skills building, better articulation, so that the learning outcomes were improved. And on the company side, obviously, we make things easy, particularly for companies that don't already have their own internship program. We have two different models. One is for under 18s, high school K-12 program, which is a guided internship, very supported by our teams. And the other one is over 18 for university age and above, and is more authentic internship where they will be communicating directly with a host company supervisor in a real company in their own desired career field. and completing projects and gaining all the amazing advantages from doing that. We currently, this year, will deliver about 5,000 internships up until the end of March. That's our year end. And that's already a big growth on last year, as you can imagine. And we're very excited to explore sort of why we work with agents in the coming conversation. I'll pass back to you.
Thank you, Ed. 5,000, that's an impressive number indeed. And from Turkey, Sezai.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Martin. It's been always nice to be on an ISEF event. Thank you hosting us on this webinar. Actually, we are on the agent part of the program. We are representing and promoting an online program called Online Early College. This is very new in the industry, and we are proud to be the first and the only agent providing this in Turkey. Again, it was online. However, it follows the traditional face-to-face practice of early college applications in the USA. The provider is an American university, which we met one of ISEF events on, it was January 2000, just when the pandemic broke out. You know what happened? We just worked on it about for a year to make it a product to market in Turkish audience. Only then, but finally we have had quite a launch here with a couple of students, but it's doing well, and we are in contact with the school chains. Thank you for the moment.
Right. Thank you, Sezai. So just for the audience, and just put it very black and white, if I may, we have in this panel, let's say, two online providers, which are, of course, Alexander Zeltov from Educate Online and Ed Holroyd Pierce from Virtual Internships, and then two student recruitment agencies or international education agencies or student or study abroad agencies, whatever we call them, but that are actually active in selling and promoting online. And I think that's a great mix to have. So thank you again for being on the panel. Alexander, I'd like to start with you, and then later I'll move to the agents, and then I'll finish with the virtual internships, Ed. But Alexander, at the start of this webinar, I explained how agencies can help providers reach more students. But if I may play the devil's advocate, and can you tell me and the audience, why would a study abroad agency promote anything that doesn't involve actually going abroad?
So I guess, as you've described, there's different reasons that the agents may have. I think one of the reasons is due to the fact that COVID happened. So in order to save their work and to save their business, they had to transform, and we actually helped the agencies do that. Second reason is the fact that usually, let's say if you're an international education agent, you get a lead at the age of 40 and you'll send them to uni at the age of 80, for example. What you'll see is that you don't really have things to do with that student. Maybe you'll send them to summer schools, but they are also questionable in the current times. So you'll have to figure out a way to engage them. And for a lot of the agencies, that's a way of engagement of the students, adding more revenues and actually bringing more value, because when the students apply to universities, they don't only need to show their grades, they also need to show their portfolio, like what they did during their school years. And if they do some qualifications online, it can be seen as a great additional benefit, basically, that they didn't wait and just stall during these turbulent COVID times, that they did something extra. And the third thing, I guess, is the understanding. Even though the educational agents that we are working with, I wouldn't say that they're very technical, but everybody starts to get the idea that online is the new future, and they're trying to figure it out. Like, what will happen? How do we get into this new environment? How do we transform our company? So I guess these are the three main reasons. But overall, we see that educational agencies and consultants are all about contribution to the students, right? They're always thinking, what kind of value can we deliver to the students? How can we make them more advanced in the current climate? So I think the values of growth and contribution have won during COVID across all cities and countries. And that's why we see that there's even more demand from the international educational agents at this moment.
Wonderful. So your program offering is an additional product or service that they can add to their portfolio. So would you say that the clients, the learners, the students that they reach to sell your program to are among their existing clients, or is it a product that allows them, the agencies, to also reach and introduce your services to new types of clients that they may have already been in contact to, but thus far were not able to sell anything to?
I think both, because for some students, they don't want to travel. Let's say we have a student from Thailand, for example. She doesn't want to travel to the UK, or she can't travel to UK back and forth, with all these closures and everything that's happening. So she says, I'll do this full-time education with Educate Online, and then once I graduate, I'll go to the university. Some students, we have another student, for example, from Uganda, and she says, I'll continue my studies in my school in Uganda, but I'll do a couple of subjects just to add to my portfolio. So this way, for the agents, I think it's both working with the current customer base and actually activating them. And the second thing is actually getting new customers. But the main thing is when you start to promote online, the question becomes like, how do you do it? And I don't think that the answer is really simple, because when you have your current customer base, you can send them an email, you can call them, you can make posts, or maybe Instagram lives, Facebook lives, etc. That's one of the things you can do. But how do you promote online? That becomes the bigger question, because you have to use online. It sounds a bit strange, but you have to use online to promote online. You have to find new ways. And we see that the webinar model, for example, works really well. During these webinars, it's possible to explain everything and answer all the questions of the parents, because for the parents, for the most of them, they understand what online learning is, but the concept is still new. So it's very important to educate the new customers and the current customers that the agents have. And if the agents do that, they see a huge success, because if you look at the trend of the boarding school market segment, if you look at the trend of summer schools, if you look at the trend of universities, it's not growing that fast as EdTech is growing now in the world. So tapping into the online and into the EdTech industry allows the agents to actually benefit from the market growth. And when you see this, when you see the rising number of leads, when you see the number of people signing up, you understand, wow, that's the new thing. And what we did with every agent that we have very close relationship with, we just figured out, okay, how do we promote this? Do we promote this to schools? Do we promote this to students directly? So do we go B2C? And it's always an ongoing conversation. And we usually have, catch-up sessions every week or every 2 weeks, just to understand how things are going, how we can contribute to them as well. So I guess it's just a question of, as you said, promoting to the current students and also bringing new ones. But it's very important to figure out the effective ways how to bring new ones, so to say.
Interesting. And aren't the agencies also an opportunity for online learning providers to actually tap into those pools of students that they could otherwise not reach? Because I imagine these agencies are based in China, India, Nigeria, Latin America, Middle East, all over the world. And any online learning provider, probably we can imagine that they're very online savvy and they're using SEO and targeted marketing, but all online, that it's because of the agencies who are based in those countries that they can reach more students. Is that one of the reasons you work with them, or am I off here?
I guess it's the trust that the agencies have in the local markets. They have a brand, they have customers that they really know, so to say, already. And I think that helps, because let's say as a company, when you start to expand to India, as you've said, for example, the main thing, what's really important to establish if you have the quality programs is the trust. So when you work with an educational agency, you basically need to somehow gain this trust. And I think that educational agencies already have that trust. They built that trust over several years. And it honestly takes several years to build trust in the market, right? Sometimes it takes a decade to bring a big business, big agency business to fruition. So I guess the main reason why we're working with agencies is because they understand the local markets better. The parents and the students know them, and we can also understand that we can figure out how do we do the customer support in different languages as well across several time zones. Because when the students have questions, they'll usually reach out to the agents, and we actually work these things out. Like, how do we support the students once they're studying online? Because it's not only about recruiting the students, it's actually about having the right support system. And through that support system, you can actually make upsells as well. So it's kind of, you're contributing to the students, you're continuing to do that. And at the same time, you're doing more and more sales and driving more revenues for you as a business.
Interesting observation here, because remark that you're making, because indeed I imagine Educate Online, as beautiful as your brand name is, isn't as known in one country as it is in another, although the agencies may well be, and therefore you're using and taking advantage of their market knowledge and their brand awareness in their local market to introduce your brand and products to the local student and get that trust. Can you share with me maybe a little bit about your business model? Because an agency, typically study abroad agencies, they get a percentage on the tuition fee, and that's usually quite a bit of money. Is this also a commission based? Is it a flat fee? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So it's commission based, same as the boarding schools do, so to say. So we pay, depending on the program, 10 to 20% of the fees, and we pay them ongoing, which means that if the students stay with Educate Online for a couple of years, the agencies will receive the money for a couple of years. Sometimes if the agent is really interesting, we can actually look into contribution into the marketing and sales efforts as well. But in order to do that, we just need to see the first demand. We need to understand some sort of context, what's happening at this moment, then we're ready to support them. And of course, I guess it's not only about the money, because the agencies usually will, as we see, decide not to make a sale rather than to make a bad sale, right? So it's more about guiding them and having all these meetings together with the families and consulting them and consulting the families about the best program choices and everything. So I guess it's just a level of support that we provide, and we scale our team accordingly as well across several regions to provide the highest level of support possible. And of course, all these things sound fun, but there's actually a lot of work that goes into this. And it's just doing this work, figuring out the best ways, meeting with agents, understanding how can we contribute to them even further. Like today, I had a meeting with an agent that we met at ISEF Dubai. He's from Egypt. And he said, I have a lot of students in the countries, maybe somehow we can support them as well. And we are thinking, okay, that's not part of our business model at all about organizing transfers or whatever, but actually he has so many students that we can somehow help him and he'll help us, so to say. So I think we're at the start of the EdTech agency scenario. We're just at the start, and we have to build relationships, and the relationships will be key to success. If we don't have the relationships there, it's not going to work.
Yeah, well, EdTech is definitely another topic that we're very focused on, and we're dealing with that topic and also in other webinars, but it's a good point that you're making. Sergey, you are very active in the sales and promotion of online, and actually quite a bit of an ambassador for it, or even an early adapter, trendsetter, and all these things. Can you tell us a little bit more about what made you decide to actually start as an agency to start selling and promoting online learning? Because we've seen still a bit of skepticism in spite of all the reach and opportunities that the reach that agencies can provide to online learning providers and opportunities there.
After COVID have started, many people, there were a lot of restrictions for traveling, but there were still requests. People wanted, for example, to go to study abroad, to get higher education abroad, to be prepared to get higher education abroad. So people still ask us how we can do this. And there were already some programs, for example, to learn, to get ready to go to Czech Republic. There were programs to learn languages online. There were MBA programs. For example, I have requests for MBA. They say, I don't want to travel, but I want to get a good MBA. What can I do? So we because we have customers, we have requests, we started to research this field, and we started to give advice for our clients where they should go and how they should study online.
So you're really responding to a demand that was coming towards you for online programs.
Yes, because there's still people who want to get education abroad. they want to get quality education. They ask us advice, and sometimes before it was only one option is online education because borders were closed, and then sometimes it's possible to get visa, sometimes it's not possible at all. So people ask us, and we start to offer them options what they have, and some people actually choose to get education online. Of course, I think from my experience, it's way less than offline education. And I think people are not so much willing to get online education compared to offline, but it could be a part of experience. So they start from online and then continue to offline.
Yeah, I find it interesting to see also that the demand is coming, but not from the typical. I mean, a student who wants to study abroad will and can afford it will probably find a study abroad because that's what their ambition is. So I would like to emphasize indeed, and I hope that you agree with me, that online learning opportunities are not here to compete as a product with the study abroad product, but actually as an additional product for a broader group of students. So the 4 students that I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the webinar, for every student that goes overseas, there are 4 more that wanted to go overseas, or at least want to obtain a degree from an overseas institution or get certificates or what have you. Is that the target group that you're focusing on?
I think we have our client base, thousands of people who already sometimes ask us. We use CRM system, so we promote them through CRM system, and it's because when there are no different options, you say that they will find the way, but sometimes before, during COVID, there's no way to get abroad. You know, borders were closed. For example, in Russia, it's very hard to get the US visa now, right? The embassy is closed, especially now during this situation in Ukraine. So I think even people maybe want to, even because they can afford it, but they have an opportunity and they want to start something. That's why we offer them. But of course, and also some people, they want to get education abroad, they study online, and then sometimes during weekend, for example, executive MBA, they go only during weekends to get to study, or maybe once per month they travel somewhere, and mostly they study online.
Right. Cesar, you mentioned earlier online early college. Am I correct? Like students that are in college are already studying online in parallel to prepare for maybe a study abroad project?
Yes. That's correct, Martin. Yes, that's correct. So this program basically a program provided by a university from the US, but it's online, and it's targeted to local high school students. This is where the program is regarded as something new, because once they registered this program, all of a sudden they become a university student in high school. Okay, but so FE courses or credits, this is what we taught actually, may not mean nothing for a Turkish student. So there is a reward. If a student completes, let's say 10 classes or 30 up to 36 credits, they get an American high school diploma. Plus, one new thing here is these courses are general education courses given to freshman students or undergraduate students in their first years. So this means a Turkish student can save 2 years, I can say.
Right. And so
because they can join this program. Well, it is parallel to their high school education here. They can join in mostly, we wouldn't recommend it to 9th graders, but from 10, 11 graders onwards. So they can take FE courses in each term. So there is no obligation on, it's based on credit system. Anyone completing, let's say 30 credits hours, get a high school diploma. Be careful, it's evaluated on top of the education here. It's not just simply 30 credits. but it's evaluated to the local curriculum as well. So the main motivation here is the high school diploma, but the courses they take are general education courses given in the first year of American universities. So students, although they are high school students, they are taking university courses directly from the university without an intermediary. So what we do here is this program is rewriting university recruitment system. It is setting new rules, I can say, simplifying actually. So this means, as you said, there's one point here, borrowing your terms from Martin. So actually, we're not overriding study abroad concept. We are preparing the students who want to go abroad eventually or finally, but we are preparing here in their home country, taking their courses, and it's the first step. They are just saving time and money, especially in a country, a budget-sensitive country like Turkey.
Yeah, so it's a very smart way indeed to save time and money. But Sezai, looking at the future, will you expect, or is your goal then to always focus on those students that eventually want to study overseas, or are you seeing this now as an opportunity with all the experience that you're building to reach students that simply want to get a degree online and not necessarily with the ambition to study overseas?
Well, most of our students will be students who want to study abroad eventually. That will be their final destination anyway. But I mean, in this age level, high school level, this is their motivation. But if it was, let's say, an MBA online, they wouldn't mind. But we don't have an MBA online, but we are focusing on this. So this program is, in a way, something we are negotiating with the recruitment team of the American universities as well, because they haven't met a student with an early college transcripts yet. So this is what will happen to Educate Online graduates as well, that we are negotiating with the American universities whether they directly accept these students or not as direct placements, because they will have, let's say, at least 10, 12 courses or 30, 36 credit hours from a university. Why should they ask them about SAT, ACT, TOEFL, IB, or AP?
Yeah, and actually I want to ask the same question to Sergey, because Sezai, you're mentioning that's very much related to students eventually wanting to enroll in an American university. But Sergey, the online programs that you are promoting and selling, is that always also related to eventually studying abroad?
Majority of them, yes, but not. Sometimes people just want to learn English and they never go. Maybe they want to learn English for their professional life. So it's not always this to go to study abroad. But big part of the students with preparatory courses, they want to study with online, then to go abroad. So it's, I would say it's both.
Right. And are you also selling and promoting blended programs, Sergey, like the combination of both?
Which one?
Blended programs, hybrid programs.
Blended, yes. Blended program is quite popular, yeah. Blended program is quite popular. Is it what I told? Sometimes people study online and they go and study offline, yes.
And who blends them? Are they already existing blended programs, or are you, let's say, that consultant that advises them, well, if you take this online program and that on-site study abroad program, then you have a good...
Yeah, so there are many programs on the market, but we sometimes take our own programs. For example, we have our own courses too, like our own online courses. For example, and how it's appear, people wanted to study, for example, English online, but the price sometimes is quite expensive from the School of US. So we started our own programs, our own online language programs, and they study with us, and then we send them students abroad. That's how it works. So we create this, or for example, for Czech Republic, students need to, for example, to pass a test in Czech language. They should speak language to study. Or in Germany, they need to have good German language, right, to study in Germany. So we offer our own online program. They study German with us, and they enter to the university. Right. So, and because of COVID, and online is easier to organize. For example, there are many cities, many small cities which don't have a teacher, right, to, for example, to teach German or to teach Czech language. And when it's online, we easily can find one teacher, and he can serve people from many different regions. That's why it's and it's cheaper, right? Online, it's also cheaper because you don't need to spend money to go to, for example, to go abroad, to get visa, to pay tickets, right, to pay accommodation. So it's way cheaper. Of course, the students have a lack of experience. I myself, I studied many times online and offline. Of course, I prefer to offline learning. You come, you enjoy the country, you see this, and then schools can more differentiate itself, right, with offline experience. You study in Rome, or you study in Nice, or you study in different city, right? And it's differentiation. If it's just Zoom lessons, one-to-one, for school, it's very hard for me, when I sell it, English classes, for me, it's very hard to differentiate them, like 5 different schools. And if they offer one-to-one Zoom classes, it's very hard to find why is it different? Why is they charge, for example, like we charge like $10 or $12 for class, 15 maybe for native speakers. Some schools charge $35, $50 per one class. And it's hard to explain student why it's more expensive, because it's basically Zoom, maybe some online platform, but mostly Zoom. And I think this is actually it was a reason why we offer our own online classes. Of course, it's easier to sell other classes, don't deal with teachers, don't organize it, just to sell. But because of this price, and on Russian market, there are many online language providers with cheaper price, even with native speakers. And so to be able to compete, we need to offer our own classes with good price so we can earn something.
Yeah. Talking about earning something, what is your business model typically for sales and promotion of online programs?
For us, there's basically three sources of revenue. One source is which take money from the universities and school for promoting. For example, we put them on our website, on our social media, on our email list. It's number one. Second, commission. And third, we organize our own language school. We have our own language brands. So we just take money from students, pay money to teachers, and earn this margin to us. So basically, this is three main sources. Plus also one fourth, which sometimes charge students for the visa service and for consulting.
Right, but
So
the visa, I imagine, is not really needed for an online program.
No, for online, yeah. But at the same time, that's why many people, don't really want to have agents for online, because it's very easy to sign up. Many tech companies, they're very user friendly, and it's very easy to go to their website, press sign up, and they sign up, and then someone calls them on their local language, and they don't need us. That's why I think agency still make more money on offline education, because in case of offline education, agency is more needed for people, right? Because it's hard to understand visa, hard to book tickets, organize everything, and consult. But also we create value because there are many online education providers, and people need to listen honest advice. What is better? That's why we still agency still needed even with online education, and especially if agencies create their own products, right? Yeah. Like we create our own study language, and then we send them to study abroad.
Can I just switch to Alexander? Alexander Zaga just mentioned a lot of online learning providers have a very easy sign-up process. They don't really need an agency. How would you respond to that?
I actually would like, first of all, to compliment both Cesar and Sergey for all the efforts that you're making in this field, and just also to tell Cesar the following thing, that basically our students, they receive a high school diploma and they actually do the high school programs. We looked into the college dual credit program. I think that's something that you're talking about. And it'd be great just to connect and see how we can help with applications, because it's a new program and it's very important for the market in terms of the universities to understand, and we're here to help as well. So it'd be great to connect and to help with the university admission things.
Definitely, Alexander. This is what we observe here. Most of the chain schools in Turkey somehow providing programs from Canada, USA. So dual credit, I mean, it's a physical school in Canada, for example. They provide their online courses here in Turkey. But ours is different because they still provide high school courses, whereas we provide college courses.
Yeah, the college courses are really interesting, so we can dive into this and share maybe the findings with ISEF once we figure out the solution.
Yeah, and, yes, definitely. Yeah, Turkey is a big market in this case.
May I just go back to that question, Alexander?
Yeah, we will. Sorry for that. Into the other thing. So talking about the sign-up process, I mean, it depends what your check size is. Basically, Sergey was describing companies probably like Skyeng or Novakid or some other companies that charge students, you pay like 100 or 150 bucks and then you're good to go. If you're selling complex products like a dual diploma program or a full-time program, it will cost more than $150. It will cost maybe $5,000, $4,000, $8,000, $10,000. And the process of signing up in that case is not really easy, because usually the students, if you look at Upgrad, for example, in India, one of the upcoming unicorns in that market, you see that straight away on the webpage, you have an opportunity to book a free consultation with one of their staff for 15 or 30 minutes. And I guess even the companies that are unicorns in the field, so they're really big, they still use video communications. They use human-to-human connection in order to make sales. So for us, we input a lot of effort and a lot of money into this self-service model and building our platform to facilitate that. But we see that the video calls are most efficient to make sales at this moment between our staff and the students. And then come the text messages and the sign-up forms and everything. So I guess the human-to-human connection still wins, and even for companies that are bigger than ours. But I'm sure that in many years to come, the customers will be more willing to use the self-service because they will understand, like in Amazon, you know, when you buy things, you understand what it is about. But at some point, it was your first experience, and same for the education. So I would say that in order to establish trust, the international education agents are really needed.
Yeah, I think it's an important decision on a life-changing product, which is education, probably for the more complex programs. Indeed, I mean, there's certain MBA online programs, certain digital credentials, digital boot camps that are not cheap, and you may want to probably talk to a human who can help you with advice and support, whereas all the edtech solutions help with streamlining processes and speeding up the communication. But in the end, it's of course helpful if there's some human interaction. And I haven't forgotten about you. We've talked about a lot of online learning, online programs, online certificates, all these people studying online. But your company is completely focused on actually gaining working experience online. You even called your company Virtual Internships. How does that work? And then maybe tell us a little bit how it works with agencies.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, first of all, I'm very happy to be the last person to speak because everybody's given such good content and so relevant to us as well. You know, particularly Alexander's point about engagement and adding value innovative and additional products to the usual portfolio, that's absolutely where we see ourselves when we get into the agent mix or the agent scenario. I think the real value that we see is like that local knowledge and that local connectivity. You know, our program is innovative and is pretty, you know, new for many individuals or their families to understand. And so having an agent, somebody in a trusted position in their culture, in their language, able to explain the benefits and the upsides is really valuable for us. And on the flip side, what we sort of bring to agents is this huge new accessibility piece. You know, the cost is low. The industries and career fields covered are huge. You know, we cover 18 different career fields. And the geographies are also, you know, very diverse. So we have 10,000 host companies across 70 different countries. So if you're an agency and someone walks in and they immediately have price shock, they thought they were going to be able to send their children to the US, they can still have a US host company experience with a virtual internship at probably like 5% of the price of their 3 or 4 year degree they were thinking of. So yeah, basically we work with agents on a commission basis, but because our programs are very standardized, that effectively works out at a flat fee, and it's relatively quick. Our programs are between 1 and 4 months long, and what's great is that agents can immediately see the results. I mean, you know, we have over 30% of our candidates are offered a job in their company, and either a job or a continuation of their internship. So that's like an immediate success story. There's not that kind of waiting with a traditional longer term university course. So we quite like that, and the agents seem to like that as well. What else would you like to know?
So what's the business model for a virtual internship? Because indeed, I'm imagine that the student or the intern has to pay a fee for this, and what is the business model for the agency involved if they recruit a student for a virtual internship?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So the students pay a fee to participate, and the agents would get a typical commission, you know, between 10 and 20%, depending on volumes. We do provide a lot of support in marketing and making sure that they have the right collateral to provide students with the right information.
Yeah, and the agencies, are they the candidates that they're finding for your virtual internships? Are they typically then the international students that have finished the study, or maybe during the study, or are they delivering you with a whole new segment of potential?
Yeah, there's both actually. I mean, obviously during the COVID period, there are students who would have gone abroad and haven't been able to, or perhaps have had to come home and not do internships because the companies they were originally going to work for are working from home. So there's lots of different COVID related scenarios, but now we're seeing students who are a new demographic. You know, we're not going to afford to go abroad for long-term study, are coming to us through agents, which is great. And also, you know, this kind of blended or hybrid option that some agents are building our program into an offering where a student may go abroad to study for several years, and then at the end of year 2, they'll include a virtual internship from us. So that's quite a nice way of packaging it, which we like.
How has agency response been thus far? Have you been met with maybe a lot of skepticism about an internship being online, or what was the main prejudice that you had to kind of respond to from agencies?
Yeah, I wouldn't have said there were any like big prejudices. I think the difficulty is, you know, the program price is low to start with, so the commission is low. So agents who typically have to work for, you know, quite a long time with one client before they get them onboarded are starting to think, well, wow, by the time I've explained what a virtual internship is this worth my commission? So the first couple are typically, you know, slow. There's a bit of friction. There's definitely a learning curve. But then once those agents get into their stride and they realize this product is very appealing, very innovative and exciting for those students, it's going really well.
Yeah, it's a great add-on, of course. I'd like to do a little round around the four of you. Our audience is mostly providers of online programs, online courses at all levels. If you were to give them one point of advice about working with agencies, Alexander, to start with you, what would that advice be?
I guess it's just being patient, doing lots of work and not expecting results straight away, and just approaching this as a long-term project, approaching this as a long-term friendship and collaboration. And then if you don't expect immediate results and you just contribute, within the next couple of years, you'll see great results. But it doesn't work like straight away. It's you don't really know who will perform. Everybody is talking amazingly well and everybody can sell to each other and that's great, but it's just being patient. You know, there's a Take That song, Patience, and listening to it more, I guess, is the best thing to do in this case.
Step-by-step process. Sergey, what would your point of advice be to an online learning provider interested or considering working with agencies?
Yeah, I think especially if as a learning provider entering new market, is important to invest in relationship with agents, to do some promotions, participate in different webinars. And the harder thing is to attract first couple of students, because when they have couple of students in some region, if it was good product, students start to tell about this to other students, and this how it's growing. So maybe even, you know, to give some promotional prices or some special conditions for first students, and invest the money to attract these first students, because at the beginning no one know about this program. So I think relationship and invest in attracting first student, and then it's getting easier. The first couple is the hardest to get.
Isn't it with everything in life, right? Sezai, what would your point of advice be?
Well, actually, what we are doing is somehow contradictory what we used to do. Actually, you know, we used to sell J1 high school exchange in America or high school exchange in Canada. Now, all of a sudden, well, not really, you know, after the pandemic, we have these online programs replacing the physical or study abroad programs. Somehow there will be a balance. Actually, I'm not saying the physical students will lose attention, or I mean, you know, their attractiveness from the students. There will be somehow those online programs. So I tell you what, we met this program in Los Angeles 2 years ago, but we were the only agent who focused on it. So they were just one of the schools presenting themselves in whole, you know, ISEF event there. But we just kept in contact with the people in charge, you know. They visited us 4 times in Turkey. So we really, you know, we really had to work hard to, first of all, we had to learn and understand the program first. Only then we started to tell people or promote the program to whole country here. So it's the interaction anyway.
Yeah, it's so important to build that relationship. I think you're all three saying the same point here, Alexander, Sergey, and Sezai, so far as don't expect quick results, teach people, take them by the hand, and then because there's a bright future if you have a good relationship whereby both parties understand really what to expect.
So these online programs will be there anyway.
Yeah. Ed, same question for you.
I would say exactly the same thing, really. Do whatever it takes to get the ball rolling. You know, even if it's, we've had a couple of agents where it's literally the, you know, the owner's son or daughter who is the first guinea pig, right? They want to see how the program works. They want to see the results. And we make sure that we bend over backwards to get the ball rolling, provide them with the materials they need. And as all three of the other panelists have said, you know, that's how the results start to come through. That's how you build a relationship. Lots of listening as well, I would say, lots of communication. but yeah, it may start small, may start a little bit more gradually than you think, but then it will build up into something which becomes very.
So one thing here for all online programs, sorry for interrupting, Ed.
Okay.
So online education means not something cheap and easy. Okay, so these programs are real programs provided by real teachers and real institutions. To confess something, I registered my own son on this program. He failed, to be honest. But I've got another student. He is doing well with average 95 out of 100 percentage. Okay, so it's not for everybody. It doesn't mean cheap. It doesn't mean something you buy and pass.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
It still needs hard work and dedication.
Yeah.
Along with all your daily routine in your own country.
Yeah, it's just the delivery modus that is different. Looking at the time, I got a question here from I believe it's Mina Chakmagi, and she says the following: Ed and Sergey both mentioned the cost of online programs. What would an agent typically expect in terms of commission for an online short course or summer program? Would this be different to face-to-face programs, Sergey?
I think that it depends on the program, right? If, for example, we earn less than $50 or $100 per sale, it's not good for us. We need to spend at least 1 hour or maybe 2 hours to make one sale, and then we get only $20 or $50. It's not good for us. So it's not so much about percentage, but I think it should be about like 20 to maybe 40 to 20 to 40 percent. That's what I think. But also it shouldn't be very low, because if we need to, our best sale it's like a Zoom consultation one-to-one. We speak like about 1 hour, and if conversion rate is like about our normal like 30%, so we need to spend 3 hours to do one sale. And if we earn only like 30 euros for whole company, we need to pay this agent, we need to pay for our expenses. So even I remember even with offline programs, like we sent to Malta, yes, and our commission was 50 euro, and our agent said, we don't want to do this because we don't earn on this. And that's what I think, that it should be like at least 100 euro, or like, and commission should be like from 100 to like from 20% to 40%. But of course, it depends on program and the price of this program.
Of course,
Yeah, sure.
Ed.
Yeah, so our program is $1,500, 1495, and agent commission is between 10 and 20%. So
yeah,
in line with Sergey's.
And it seems to be working, because to come back to what we said earlier, it's a slow start, and it takes time, effort, first to build relationship, provider, agency, and then to get the students in. You need a few students to earn back all that time that you invested. But obviously, especially with Alexander and Ed here, it's as online learning provider representative, it seems to work. And indeed, e-learning opportunities have rapidly become an attractive and very welcome, if I may say, addition to the global learning landscape, and provides valuable new opportunities also for online learning providers. For those wishing to explore the opportunity, you may want to consider attending ISEF Toronto in May, one of our major business-to-business networking events for the student recruitment industry. And there we will have a dedicated area and program for online learning. And there you can meet various carefully screened agencies that are specifically looking for online learning providers. For information about ISEF Toronto, go to isef.com/Toronto, but you can also email me for information on webinar@isef.com. And if you wish to be put in contact with either Alexander, Sezai, Sergey, or Ed, then also please email us at webinar@isef.com. Alexander, Ed, Sergey, and Sezai, many thanks for your precious time and valuable insights. Really, really very helpful. It's such an interesting topic.
We thank you.
And thank you to the audience for spending a valuable full hour of your time with us today. We hope to see you soon in another ISEF webinar or at an ISEF event.